Investigators and law enforcement are looking to charge multiple suspects in the tragic ketamine death of Friends actor Mathew Perry.
Supposedly he had an abundance of ketamine at the time, almost amount equal to undergoing surgery through anesthesia. So I would assume that the police are investigating people that could have provided the ketamine to him.
In Touch has been coming in with some exclusives revealing 2 celebrities that have been suspected to be involved in this investigation.
Y'all, there has been a huge development in the tragic story of our beloved Friend star Mathew Perry, and the feds have officially opened a criminal investigation targeting several suspects, including 2 big-name celebrities. Remember back in October when we were all heartbroken to learn that Mathew was found dead? He reportedly drowned in his jacuzzi, but fans have been buzzing with theories ever since. There's even wild speculation about his death being a sacrifice and whispers about a so-called bathtub ritual that's already claimed the lives of several celebs. Meanwhile, some insiders close to Mathew, including his ex-girlfriend, are hinting that something sinister happened to him before he ended up in that tub. And now with the feds digging deep into Mathew's celebrity circle, this whole situation is getting crazier by the minute. So what's the scoop on this investigation, and who exactly are these celebrities that the feds are eyeing? Let's break it down.
I think the most likely charge would be involuntary manslaughter.
The investigation includes the DEA, the LAPD, the U.S. Attorney, and the U.S. Postal Service.
They get involved primarily through the distribution of narcotics, possibly through the mail service or other avenues.
On Saturday, October 28th, 2023, Friends fans all over the world woke up to heartbreaking news that Mathew Perry, aka Chandler Bing, had died at age 54. So according to TMZ, on the morning of October 28th, Mathew spent a couple of hours playing pickleball and then returned to his LA home. He then sent his assistant out to run some errands after getting back. When the assistant came back, they found Mathew face down and unresponsive in his backyard hot tub and dialed 911, reporting a cardiac arrest. Now, it's unclear if Mathew was already gone by then, but by the time paramedics arrived, it was too late, and he was pronounced dead at the scene. TMZ also mentioned at the time that the police believed there was no foul play involved and claimed no substances were found at the scene. Now, what's strange is that people close to Mathew were giving wildly contradictory stories about his substance use leading up to his death. Some of his friends claimed he was 100% sober and swore there was no way he relapsed. But his ex-girlfriend Katie Edwards dropped a bombshell in an interview claiming that people have no clue what Mathew was up to when he was using. Now, besides his assistant who found him, the last person to see Mathew alive was his friend Athena Crosby. The 2 of them had lunch just one day before Mathew's passing, and Athena told TMZ that Mathew was in extremely good spirits and spoke enthusiastically about the things that he had coming up in his life. She also said that she doesn't believe that a relapse was what led to Mathew's strange death, and she added, "I just want to defend him and say that it was not." And then Martha Kaufman, co-creator of Friends, also claimed that she talked with Mathew shortly before his passing, and she claimed he was not only sober, but also in a genuinely positive space.
I did feel that way. I did. He seemed better than I had seen in a while. I was so thrilled to see that. He was emotionally in a good place. He looked good. He quit smoking.
Do you know if he was sober at that point?
Yes, he was sober.
So he was sober, he'd stopped smoking, he was working out, he was at in a different space.
Yeah, he was.
But Mathew's ex-girlfriend Katie Edwards painted a completely different picture and alleged that Mathew's final IG posts were his way of telling people he had relapsed and needed help. Katie said, "There are a lot of things that aren't adding up for me. I don't believe he just drowned in his jacuzzi. That doesn't sound right. I know Mathew, and I know that he wouldn't have just drowned. I think he might have taken pills in the week leading up to this." Katie pointed out that Mathew rarely posted on Instagram, but in the week leading up to his death, he was very active, sharing several posts per day, most of them referencing Batman or Matman, as he often referred to himself. Even more bizarrely, he made multiple references to water and even pickleball. The very last post he shared on Monday, October 23rd, showed him relaxing in the corner of a hot tub, and he wrote in the caption, "Oh, so warm water swirling around makes you feel good? I'm Matman." And while Mathew's struggles with substance use were by no means a secret, Katie suggested there was something else he was dealing with. Quote, "He battled with something very deep," Katie said. "It didn't seem to be his childhood childhood. He had a good childhood. His parents loved him. He had great siblings. I think there was something underneath which he battled with and took to his grave." End quote. So at first, Mathew's fans thought his Batman-themed posts were sneaky hints that he'd landed a role in the Batman universe. But after the heartbreaking news of his passing, fans started buzzing with a darker theory and wondering if Mathew was actually foreshadowing his own death with those cryptic posts. One fan said, "My theory is that in the past few days, Mathew has been calling for help in a subtle way that hopefully his friends and family would have caught on to. Unfortunately, he died a week later." But another fan responded, "I'm not sure it was a cry for help. He signs off Matman as in Batman, as in he is Batman. Batman's whole theme is justice over vengeance. He fights crime to ensure no one would suffer like he did. What's that all about?" The last picture is also pretty much an almost literal foreshadowing of his own death, as if it was planned exactly like that. Feels a bit sacrificial, no? Like he needed to die to protect something? Now fast forward to December 15th, and the authorities released the final autopsy report, stating that Mathew had died of acute effects of ketamine, and his death was ruled accidental. According to the autopsy report obtained by People, drowning, coronary artery disease, and buprenorphine effects, a medication used to treat opioid use disorder, were also listed as contributing factors in his death. But the story has now taken yet another bizarre turn, and Mathew Perry's death is now officially being investigated by the feds. The LAPD, the DEA, and the U.S. Postal Inspection Service are all working together to figure out how Mathew obtained the ketamine that was determined to be the cause of death. While Mathew was in ketamine treatment before, the autopsy discovered that the substance could not have been administered through his therapy based on the substance's half-life and the timing of his last treatment. But that's not all. According to the latest reports, 2 celebrities are suspected of involvement in Mathew's death, and the ongoing investigation could lead to involuntary manslaughter charges. A few weeks ago, In Touch reported that the feds had questioned a female celebrity in connection to Mathew's passing, and an insider told In Touch at the time they have basically been on the hunt for Mathew's killer. She's a celebrity in her own right, and they met in rehab. They formed an unexpected friendship. In Touch also reported that the woman is a household name because of her marriage to an A-lister, and she reportedly recently arrived at a sober living house as part of her latest rehab stint. Now fast forward to June 25th, and In Touch publicly identified that woman in question as socialite and actress Brooke Muller, the ex-wife of actor Charlie Sheen. But this is just one piece of the puzzle, because it's now being reported that a second celebrity is also being investigated in connection to Mathew's death, but their identity has still not been revealed to the public. A source told In Touch that Mathew and this unnamed celebrity friend both claimed to be clean and sober, but they were both allegedly walking pharmacies who bonded over their addiction. And according to In Touch, there's even photo evidence of the two at an office of a doctor who prescribes ketamine. The source told In Touch if the feds had either one of their phones, especially the second celebs because she doesn't erase her text messages, they would probably find conversations about the substance and how can I get extra? Like, oh, come see my doctor if you need more. It will not look good for the celebrity. And now reports are also circulating that this investigation could end up exposing the substance dealing operation in Hollywood involving multiple celebs, many of whom are reportedly A-listers. Former CIA and FBI Special Agent Tracy Walder told Page Six that multiple people could be charged and added that there has been a huge explosion in substance rings using mail fraud and sending prescription medication by post, which is a federal offense. Intent is going to be the question, Walder said. They obviously knew what they were doing was wrong. However, did they actively know that by procuring this, it would kill them? Well, that's the question we'll all have to wait to get an answer to once the investigation is concluded. But in the meantime, fans have their own theories on what happened to Mathew, and some are speculating there's something even more sinister than substance use going on behind the scenes in Hollywood. One fan said, "No one thinks it's weird that all these celebrity deaths happen in water." And another person wrote, "What Mathew's posts mean, Batman posts, help me, jack-o'-lantern at around Halloween, full moon at around the end of the month, 3 cranberries like the lead singer of the Cranberries who died by drowning, hot tub, I will be drowned. Every year at around late October, early November, there has to be a death in Hollywood." But what's your take on all these theories surrounding Mathew Perry's death? Do you think it was just an OD, or was there something ritualistic about it? Drop your comments below and make sure you stick around for this next video.